Okay, you've noticed that I no longer have the very identifiable G707 guitar. The SBC-1324 will also convert any 13-pin guitar into a vintage 24-pin guitar. And I powered my system down, plugged in a 13-pin cable here on the front, got my guitar out, and flipped the input switch to 13-pin input, and powered everybody back up. This is the extra safety precautious way to do it. I haven't done enough testing to see if it would be a problem to switch while you're actually playing. It's probably not a big deal, but that's how I'm doing it for the test. So you'll hear it's pretty much the exact same guitar sound using a 13-pin guitar rather than a 24-pin guitar. And since we've switched all the controls that were all on the G707 have been switched over to the SBC-1324. As far as all the connected synthesizers are concerned, this guitar is no different from the G707 guitar that we were using. There is one difference though. I activated the 6-string preamps on the front panel because if I turn these off, there just isn't enough output to really drive the GR300. So I'm flipping them back on, and I recommend using about the 3 o'clock position. This is a GK3 pickup here. We have all the same features on this guitar that we would have with the G707. There's the hex fuzz sound as well. And when we turn the balance knob back, we now hear the sound of this guitar rather than a G707 guitar. And this guitar does have GK control S1 and S2 built into it because it is a 13-pin guitar, so I can control the VG99 directly. But if I did plug in the FS 6-foot switch pedal, which we did when we were using the G707, works the same way as it did before. Plugging the external pedal in disables the controls on the guitar. Very similar to what we were doing with the G707, and now the foot switch changes patches. And the great thing about this system is there are a very limited selection, of course, of vintage 24-pin guitars. But using the SBC-1324 in the 13-pin input position and flipping the preamps on, basically you have a system now where regardless of what kind of guitar you're using, GK3, GK2, it's all transparent to the system, and you have a lot more choices as far as guitars are concerned. You can go with a Parker Fly guitar, a Paul Reed Smith guitar, you can get a Roland Ready Strat, and they will all work just like your vintage 24-pin guitar synth controller. And now you can decide, your choice of guitar can be based upon what kind of neck you like, what kind of body type, fretboard, versus simply saying, well, I have to decide between a G whatever, 202, 303, 505, the limited selection of guitars that are available for vintage instruments.